Warm greetings from the high 10. It is everyday shenanigans. Thank you so much for joining me. Early this morning, I brought you two lives pertaining to Summer Wells. As most of you probably know who are following content on social media, YT, the boys have been taken out of the custody of the Wells, the remaining three biological children. And I also brought you commentary pertaining to Cal City boys missing. They've been missing now 7 months on the 21st. And we're now a couple of days in. So now, 7 months and 3 days, the children out of Cal City are still missing. And there have been no public pleas by their adoptive parents. And I think it is atrocious that Jacqueline and Trezell West have said nothing about these babies. And it is atrocious and disrespectful to those kids and the community, because there are people who are actually concerned about the welfare of those missing boys and other missing children in America. My life today is about these kids and the fact that nobody acts like they give a damn who were taking care of them. They were cheated life from the jump, day one, in the womb, birth, brought here, life, but yet they were cheated. They go into foster care. And these two demons took care of them in foster care allegedly, adopted them, and now they are missing. And we are 7 months in from December 21st, 2020, when a report went into Cal City Dispatch. The two little boys went missing from a backyard. And we have to pay attention to what is common sense. It is rare that two children are kidnapped anywhere. The high stats is that it's family oriented, family abduction. So when you count two children going missing that are actually biologically linked, it would be a parent that would take them, not a stranger. It is very rare for two children to be abducted by a stranger. You rarely hear of two children or more than two children abducted by a stranger. And when the baton was handed over to Bakersfield Police Department from Cal City Police Department, down the line, month two in, can't remember exactly the month that it happened, but the Bakersfield Police Chief let it be known that if anyone has seen the children within a year, to please notify the Kern County Sheriff Department, Police Department, yada, yada, yada. So that showed me that no one has seen the children, heard from the children. And I just find it odd that a person think, well, really crazy, that these two jokers think they were going to just waltz into the world continuously without acknowledging that they had these kids in their custody. Because you see, it's going to be harder to explain what you did with two children when you've adopted them. Foster care is one thing. You could easily kill the kids, sell the kids, knock them off, do whatever, and then say, oh, I sent them back to foster care. We couldn't deal with them. We couldn't afford them. Make up some lame excuse. But you can't make up an excuse that will be within reasoning of a sane mind to adoptive children. What are you going to tell people where the two went that you just adopted? You adopted them the year before. So you only had them, a year and a half legally. So what were you telling people? Because I know those kids have been gone a long time, Jackie, Trezell. What did you tell your family? What did you tell your crazy mammy? Oh, did you even have a good relationship? Do you have a good relationship with your mother, your father? Because we have to also ask that question. Because a lie was fun, or maybe it wasn't a lie. If the children were at a grandparent's house, we automatically assumed that it was Miss West, Mrs. West. But to this day, we don't have verification which grandmother's house the children went to. So it was either Trezell's parents and or Jacqueline's mother. And to this day, we have no verification. You see, all these stories are the same. There is never no verification, just innuendos, and assumptions. And don't you find it strange that we have a case all the way on the West Coast, damn near to the ocean, and one way over here in the holler where I live, and it's the same game, same lies, same innuendos, same Facebook YT rhetoric, BS, lies, stories, hypotheses. It's the same. If you want to join this panel, hit the link. The subject is 7 months later, no pleas from Jacqueline and Trezell West pertaining to the disappearance of their boys. Why have these two not spoken? Come forward to say something about these kids. You two are dirty as F. Try not to use profanity in this live. You make me sick to my stomach. I told you all you had to do was sit back and watch. You don't need no social media to use logic. No photographs of the children, no uploaded photographs, videos, nothing. FBI, sheriff, they're not going to hold out on showing you pictures because it defeats the purpose in telling the public that the children are missing, and you don't show valid photos of what the children look like. One child has an upcoming birthday in August. This is sad and sickening. 7 months later, no signs of the children, no verbal sightings of the children, just a bunch of made up garbage from sick people who had nothing better to do but ask for attention. That is it. Clout chasers, disturbed human beings. And let me say this in this live. Do not call the police department with psychic shit and BS. No, not trying to knock people who are mediums, but this is real. These children and people are missing and they need credible information. So you, please, spectators, do not call local officials with dreams, innuendos, speculations pertaining to these missing children because this is serious business. These children are missing and 9 times out of 10, they're not alive. So you're wasting these people's time who are answering the phones, trying to write down your tips. They need law officials, valid tips, sightings of the children. And yes, it is easy to make a mistake and think maybe you saw a child or one of the children. But don't call these people with psychic stuff and made up stuff. And I had a dream yesterday. Don't do that. This is serious business. And it's time for some of you spectators to stop. Because to me, you're borderline as sick as the people who are rearing the children. And I'm going to say that. Because I have been seeing a lot of sickness in the chat on Facebook pertaining to these missing children, missing people. And the commentary is whack and outrageous and disrespectful to the living and the dead. Hello?
Hey Queen, how you doing?
How you
I'm
doing? Where
glad
you
you're
calling
doing it. I'm calling from Baltimore, Maryland.
from? Okay, thank you.
Um, and I'm glad I got to be on your panel today.
Okay, thank you.
Um, I wanted to say that I'm a parent who had a child that went missing for six
Okay.
months,
Okay.
and she wasn't a toddler, but she was a preteen, and like
Give
I
us the
was
age.
pounding
Listen,
the.
hold on 1 second. Give me the age and just set it up for me. The age
Okay.
and what happened.
So,
Yes.
so my child has autism, and at
Okay.
the time she was 11, and she was missing for 6 months. I could not sleep. I could not eat. I couldn't do anything.
Okay.
It breaks my heart to hear about these two little boys because I wanted a boy, but I got 5 girls. I don't understand how
Can you tell
anybody
us?
could
Can you
hurt a
tell us?
child.
can you tell us where your child was, how she got retrieved,
Um,
how you follow through with the police, all of
well,
that, please.
okay, so she was, I don't know exactly where she was.
Okay.
When the police found her, she was in an abandoned building with a group of little boys. Um,
For six
and it
months?
wasn't too, yes, ma'am, it wasn't too far away from where we live. Um, the lady house that she was going to, the lady just thought she was in foster care, and she came
Okay.
to our house and said her. I don't know who the lady is. The police said that it was confidential. And because my
Wait,
daughter's on the autism spectrum,
hold on. I don't mean to interrupt you. What was confidential?
the person that house that she was going to eat every day,
They wouldn't tell you whose
she
house
was
she was
going.
going to?
No, ma'am, they would not.
That don't make any sense to me.
They told me. They told me it was confidential. And all I could think of is my child's been with these people, and you couldn't call me, you couldn't tell me. I
So
don't
what are you
have
saying?
the
What are you
flyer.
saying? Was she actually staying with this lady, or she was just going back and forth, visiting her? I don't understand.
I believe that she was staying with this lady. The lady
Okay.
alleged that she was coming every day, and
Okay.
because she had children,
Okay.
she just thought she was friends with her children. That's
I
her
see. Okay.
story.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get an understanding.
Um, I, as a mother, didn't understand it.
Okay.
I thought they should have done more. She wasn't hurt, to my knowledge.
Well, did you
She
get a
did have,
physical?
yes, ma'am. I had to take her. We spent 14 hours in the hospital. She did have alcohol in her system.
Okay.
Um, she wasn't sexually assaulted. She didn't have any bruises. She was dirty. Her
Okay.
hair wasn't combed.
Okay.
She looked like she was homeless, walking around by herself. Um,
Okay.
so I really don't know where she was, but I could
Okay.
not sleep the whole time she was missing.
Okay. So, uh, obviously, the police made sure she went and got a checkup. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Was
We
the
spent
state was the
14
state
hours in
called
the
in?
hospital.
Was the
Yes,
state
ma'am. The state. Yes, ma'am. The state was called. Yes, ma'am.
and what was
The
their
state was called.
analogy of the situation?
That she was just hanging around with a bunch of kids. That's all they said. They wouldn't tell
What
me who the kids
did you all
were.
ever let the public know? That was there ever anything on the news about your daughter missing?
Yes, ma'am. Three times. Three
Three times the
times.
story
Yes,
broke.
ma'am.
Okay, I want to hear that.
Yes,
Okay, so
ma'am.
three times
And
the story broke.
three times the story broke. She was on Instagram missing. She was on Facebook missing. Um, and it. I was in the hospital. I was having panic attacks, going to the hospital because my child was missing.
I'm
So
just
to
trying
have
to
two
understand.
missing.
I'm just trying to understand why you could not know where your child was, because that leads me to think there's something more. Is there more to the story? Because that makes no logical sense that uh,
Well,
law officials
I
can't
only
tell the
can go
parent where
by
the child was. That makes no sense to me.
no. They wouldn't. They would not tell me who the other person, the where she was. They just said that she was staying in the abandoned house, and she would come to this lady's house to eat. And when I asked the police, and it was a female officer, when I asked
Okay.
her, um, "Can you please let me know where she was so I can, at least find out what was going on, or did
Okay.
my daughter do anything? Did something
Okay.
happen?" They would not give me the
So she wasn't
information.
she wasn't sexually violated, but did it even show in the exam that she had been having sex?
No, she had not been having sex. She did
Straight
have
up.
alcohol in her system, like her
Alcohol.
alcohol.
Okay.
She had traces of alcohol. I don't
Okay.
remember what the level was
Okay.
at
Okay.
that time.
Okay.
But
Okay.
to me, as a parent, and the police was involved, because my child was a child of color, I just felt as though they didn't care.
Okay.
That's how
I
I
got you.
felt, because
Okay.
they would not give me any information.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this, because I have to ask this question because they're already going to inquire anyway. What was going
Hmm.
on in your household for your daughter to wander off or went hung with friends, or because I don't know if you're telling me she ran away or she wandered off, or Did she
she
wander off
she
or run away?
she no, she ran away. We were in the house sleeping. Now she's on the autism spectrum.
Okay. So
Um,
why would she run away?
so she still haven't said why she ran away.
Did you ask her why she ran away, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
And she
Yes,
didn't answer.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. She did. She didn't
Were
have
you
an
having
answer. She said
problems
she
with
just
her?
wanted to be with her friends.
Okay. So
I
were
have
you
been
having any
having
problems were you having any
yes
problems with your daughter in the house?
be, behavior problems. Like
Such
any
as,
other
okay.
teenager or preteen.
Okay. Just tell me
Autism
what she was
kids.
doing. Just tell me what she was doing. See, you
Um,
got to tell me these
she
things
would.
because it's not going to make
Okay.
sense to the people.
So
Yeah, I'm not trying to be rude or
So
nothing, but
my child, what she would do when she was in the house, she would take her food and not eat it. She would take it and put it around the baseboards of the walls in the house. And when I would ask her, why she would do that. She would just say, I want to feed the animals. I'm like, well, what animals? And she said, well, we got ants. Can we feed the ants? So I dealt with that. I dealt with her pulling her hair out. Like I would braid her hair and
okay.
she would take it out. Or
Okay.
if I would dress her a certain way, she had to be dressed in a different way. So nothing really major. It's
I
just
just want
that
to make sure, if there was a disciplinary situation, were you whooping the child? Was she
no,
harmed anyway in your
no, no,
household?
no,
Anything like
no,
that? Yeah,
no, no.
because
She
people
was
gonna ask that. That's why I'm saying they're
right.
gonna ask that
She
because I'm
was
curious myself.
she was the only child in the house at the time.
Okay, so you only
She
had
has
one child.
older siblings. I had five,
Five.
but
Okay.
they're 13 years apart between her and the last child. So next to the last child. So
Wait a minute.
uh,
How many years did you say?
13.
13. Okay.
I started all over, so she was home. It was her and I. Her dad wasn't involved in the
Okay.
situation.
Okay.
Um, and kids with autism is funny because you never know what they're gonna say, what
Okay.
they're gonna do. You know, that's the issue that I had. It's just that I would never know. Like every day it was different. But at 6 o'clock we was up every day. She was ready to go to school Saturday and Sunday. So those are days I would have to take her out for physical activities. So, I did the mommy thing. Um, she was a hard child to manage from time to time, compared to my other kids.
Okay.
Um, but she did run away, and it broke my heart because I was uh, uh, I was an aide for kids with problems. Like I was working at a place called Rikers here in Maryland. It's for kids that are locked in, and they had all different diagnoses. So it was hard to deal with my child who had autism
Okay.
because it just was. You just never know what was going to happen from day to day.
Okay. So tell me what happened when she got home. How did she act and behave, and what's going on with her now? Thank you.
Well, right now she's home now. She's 16 now. She just had a child. She's doing
Oh
much
my God.
better as far as
She
her
had a child. Wait, wait,
as
wait, wait,
far
wait,
as
wait, wait.
her
Slow down,
autism.
baby. Slow down.
Yes, ma'am.
You're jumping over.
Yes,
What do you
ma'am.
mean she had a child?
Well, she had a child at 15. She got
Oh
pregnant.
Lord.
She ran away at 11. And she ran away recently as well. Um, this is July, so she ran away in January of this year. Um,
Okay, so let me
because
ask you
she was
this.
in a group
Hold on.
home.
Just wait. I okay. I'm getting confused. Okay. How old is the baby?
He is 7 months.
Okay.
He is
So
7 months.
7 months ago would have been around December. So she ran away pregnant, or is that
No,
what you're
she ran
saying?
away after she had the baby.
Where did she take
She
the baby
ran
with
away.
her?
No, ma'am.
So
No,
where did she
ma'am.
leave the baby?
With the baby's father and his mother.
Okay, so they actively were helping with the child in the beginning.
In the beginning, yes, ma'am.
Okay, where is
And
the
these
baby
are
now?
he's in the house with grandma, with great grandma. He's doing
You
fine. No, I'm
is he with?
grandma. I'm not great grandma.
No, what I'm saying is,
Not great grandma.
are you taking care of the baby, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Where is your daughter now, ma'am?
She's in the house with great grandma and the baby right now.
Right now in your house.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm just trying to get an understanding because you're telling me a whole lot, so I have to kind of break it up so people can understand
Right. Well,
what's going on.
it is
Wow.
a whole lot. Trust me, it would take me about 2 hours to explain
Yeah, because
the whole
that's what I'm trying to get an
situation with my
understanding.
daughter.
So we're talking about
Okay.
a daughter with autism, ran away
hmm
before, was found. That was what, 3 years ago? 2 years ago? 4 years ago?
but she's 16 now. Wait a minute.
Yes.
Hold on 1 second. Let me plug my phone in before it dies.
Okay.
Um,
Ooh, Lordy.
she ran away at 11. That was
11. I'm
the
sorry,
first
the time
time.
mixed up.
That was
So,
that was one of the times that she ran away that the police got
okay.
involved. Um,
Okay.
so um,
Lord, I
so this
just
is
this is a lot to
listen.
listen
If
to.
I tell you my whole story, it's gonna take away from the boys. I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
love
yeah,
to come and
yeah.
talk to you about my situation. I would
I
love to
understand
do
you
that.
missing your child. I got you. I didn't mean to. I
Right,
had to ask you these things because I can't just leave it open that a child went missing.
right,
I have to find out why she went
and
missing, how she
I
got missing, and all
understand that. I understand that. I don't fault you for that, but I don't want to take away from
that.
your
Okay.
topic.
Okay.
Because
So
I
you
am a parent with
understand.
kids.
Okay. So you understand a child being missing and a parent
Yes,
who was
ma'am.
concerned for their child. I got you. Okay.
Yes,
So you can go
ma'am.
ahead and tell
Yes,
me
ma'am.
uh what you felt like when your daughter went missing for those 6 months and everything you did, and we'll go from there.
When she went missing for the 6 months, I was heartbroken. I was hospitalized because
Okay.
I was having a panic attack. I thought I was having a heart attack. It was stress. Um, it was really, really hard. Like I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know what to say. And of course, when kids go missing or run away, of course, there's problems in the house. That's not always the case.
Okay.
You have to look at the circumstances, and the circumstances with me. My child has autism, and she has an IEP at school.
Okay.
And like I'm having this conversation with you, I can't have a conversation like this with her because she wouldn't understand it. She'll just say, "Oh, I was okay. I was with my friend."
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the
So
whole point is that she has a mental disorder. So naturally, how one thinks she's not going to think like somebody else. One, she's a child. Two,
no,
she doesn't have
no,
the
ma'am,
capabilities to rationalize certain things, and that's not her
no,
fault because she's
ma'am,
a child
not at all.
and she has a disorder.
And that whole time she was missing, my hair fell out in the top. I
Okay.
had to shave my hair completely bald because the stress was overwhelming.
Okay.
Um, I had to take a leave from work. Um,
Did
it
you
was
have a
it was
support
really
system?
hard.
Did you have a support
No,
system,
ma'am, I
ma'am?
didn't. No,
Well, I
ma'am,
thought.
I
Well, what about
didn't.
the grandmother? Well, what about your mother? You said the grandmother lives there with you out right now. Does she not?
That's the father's grandmother, the
Oh,
father's side of the family. So, um, that
okay. I guess I'm getting confused. Okay.
both of the kids, my daughter and the guy she got pregnant by, both of them have diagnosis. So
So you telling me he's
when
autistic as well? The baby, listen, the baby daddy is autistic.
he's not autistic, he has other diagnoses. Wait a minute, Arthur, please. Wait a minute. So he has an IEP, And my child has an IEP, but she has autism as well. So that's
Well,
that's her diagnosis.
explain to us what the IEP is, ma'am.
The IEP is when your kids go to school, they have to have certain things according to their education level.
Okay.
Um, because she was a runner, she had to have a one-to-one aide sit with her. She had
Okay.
to be in a locked facility so she
That's a
could
bad.
stay in the
It's a bad
building.
way to live.
Yes, really it is. It's hard. Really, it's hard. Um,
Oh mercy.
it's really hard. Um, I do feel alone in my struggles with her.
Okay.
Um, and it really is hard. It really is hard. But
So
to
who's
have
at
a
your house
child
now?
missing,
Who's living in your house right
um,
now as you're speaking, ma'am?
my grandson, my daughter, and myself.
So you are there with your daughter who was pregnant and her baby child who is now 7 months old. How is the
Yes,
baby?
ma'am.
How is the baby
He's
doing?
doing fine. He's
Okay.
doing good. He's crawling. He's trying to walk.
Okay.
He's
That's
meeting his milestones. You
okay.
know, he
That's
has no visible disabilities as
okay.
we
That's good.
speak.
That's good.
Um, so,
Great news, actually. How
and I
is your
would love to
daughter
send
doing?
you a picture of him.
Well, how is
She's
your
doing
daughter
she's
doing?
doing she's doing very well at this time.
Okay, good.
I
So
think
she has not ran
I
away in the
think
past couple of months.
she has not run away since January.
Okay,
So
okay,
we're going on what 7 months. So we're doing good. We're
good.
doing
Okay,
good.
okay. Because I know everyone's going to want to know how she's doing, how you're doing, and how the baby is doing.
She's doing they we are all fine.
Okay,
The stress level as a mother, I'm pretty sure parents know the stress of having kids. So I'm stressed about that. Um, I see that my child is growing. She's thriving better
okay,
now as she's becoming of age.
okay,
Um, she's doing a lot better.
okay,
She's opening up, talking to me more. She's talking to her sisters more. So it's moving in a positive direction.
okay,
As long as nothing else triggers her, we'll be fine.
okay,
But
okay.
having
So,
a missing child,
so your child. Let me ask you this, and then I'm going to ask you about this case. Uh, is your child on any type of contraceptives at the moment?
yes, ma'am.
Thank you,
Yes,
Jesus.
ma'am. I
Okay,
made sure of that.
good. Let me ask you this:
Yeah.
what do you think
And look,
about
it
being
is
seven
10
months
years.
later? Huh?
It's for 10 years.
Okay. So about the Cal City boys, you've had a child go missing, retrieved your child. What do you think about these two parents not rallying for these children 7 months in? No pleas to the public, no nothing.
I honestly would like to go beat the hell out of them because you got two missing and you're
You
not
with a
talking
whole
about
lot of
them.
other people. Indeed.
And I, as a mother, I have three adopted kids, but they're mine. They're mine. So if every one of them would have went missing,
Wait. Slow
I
down. Hold on.
know
Hold
I
on.
would be crazy.
Wait. You have three more children in the house now?
No, they're so my kids are grown. My kid, I have five kids.
Okay.
I have I have two that I gave birth to and three that
Okay.
I adopted.
Okay. So all
Now,
those
if
other children, four
they are
are
grown.
grown.
They
I
grown.
see what you're saying.
They
Okay.
are grown.
Okay.
They
Okay.
grown. They grown.
Okay. So you see, 7 months in, nothing from these people, no rallying, no
It's
nothing.
disgusting.
Yes, it
It's
is.
disgusting. It's disgusting. How do you not open up and say something? How do you not give an accurate picture, an
Okay.
up to date picture? In my heart of hearts, I believe these kids been missing when they first got them, and they had to figure out how they going to, disguise what happened.
Well, you know
That's
the
what I
pictures in
think in my
19.
heart.
Well, but listen, you know those photos from Jamal's page is from the winter of 19, around Thanksgiving, Christmas time. So that was
Right.
19. So that was a whole year before the children actually went missing.
Right.
These
I think
kids
they
didn't
was
get missing
missing
allegedly till
before.
December 20th. I think the children went missing probably somewhere after holidays of 19, going into the new
Right.
year, which would
I
have
think
started
so
into our
too.
COVID phase.
I think so too. I think they actually they probably went missing after that, after those pictures were taken on
They could have
Thanksgiving.
been. Yes, could
I
have been.
believe that. I don't,
Yeah.
but I still, in my head, I can't understand why they're not saying nothing.
Well, I think you
I
know why they're not
understand you
saying
want to be
something. You
private.
know why they're not saying something.
Yeah, in my heart, that's what I believe, that they done something to these kids and they looking
Okay.
for a story.
Yeah.
But can I say this too?
Yeah.
When my child went missing and how I felt like the police handled it, because
Okay.
my child had pigment in her skin, they didn't give two shits. It didn't
Okay.
matter. Excuse me for cussing. I don't want to be disrespectful,
Okay.
but I don't understand it at all. I don't.
Well, I do believe.
I don't.
First, let me first say this because a lot of people don't know other demographics. People who are not of color. There are a lot of missing people in general in America. They're children, babies,
Absolutely.
and adults, and
Absolutely.
they do not get the coverage by the newspaper, radio, or TV. And as you see with Cal
Right.
City, which is a prime example, there were people when
Right.
this story broke and months into it, didn't even know that the boys were missing in the state of California, and people lived in California were commenting on news pages, articles, YT, social
Hmm.
media, saying, and
Right.
these are all race of people, they didn't even know that the boys were missing. So that to me was bothersome because my thing is
Right.
naturally the news where you live will report a story. But it doesn't mean that
Right.
the news outlets 2 hours over, 4 hours over will report the
Hmm.
same story. That's just
Right.
an
Right.
assumption that you're going to get the same news that Bakersfield and Cal City News
You're
you would
not.
get.
You're
That
not.
wasn't true.
And you're not. And the sad part is the kids that are missing. Is it depends on your demographic. I really believe that. Now, I have to run because I am at work. Thank you for taking the time because I'm being summoned. I would love to
Go ahead.
email
That's fine.
you, and I will. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, T
Be
Reds.
blessed. Love and peace
Okay.
to everyone in
Well,
the
I'll pray
chat.
for you. I'll be praying for you and the family, the baby, and your daughter. That was Two Reds from upstate, sharing her feelings about having a child going missing. She had a preteen at the time, 11 years old, went missing a couple years ago, autistic child. And now that child has a child. There's a lot to digest that testimony just now. But anyway, that was somebody in her house. Let's not focus on that. Uh, Today's subject is pertaining to Cal City boys have been missing 7 months, 3 days. Where are they? Why haven't the West rallied for these children, spoke up about these children, said something about these children? No conversation, no pleas, no nothing. Made up all type of wax stories in the beginning, why they couldn't speak, search for the children. Those things are obsolete. You don't worry about what other people are saying about you in the street if you care about your damn kids. It doesn't matter about the biological family. You felt like they looking at you or lurking at you, threatening you, whatever the hell was going on, because I don't know, I wasn't out there. That has nothing to do with you rallying for your children, searching for your children. We're talking about day damn one. Day damn one. You were not active. It's obvious. There's too many eyes out there on the ground watching everything. You, Jacqueline and Trezell, you did not rally for those boys. And now, 7 months in, the proof is in the pudding. You can scratch all the he said, she said, all the Googling, address searches, people searches, who did what, who was a neighbor to a neighbor, who lived at the damn Castelloma apartments, how many people stayed in the apartment they used to live in, moved out. All that means nothing. 7 months later to the date is the proof. in the pudding. You never cared for those two small boys. You used them as a means to an end. You used them to get money from the state. You still collected a stipend even when you adopted them, because in the state of California, you still get money from the state even after adoption. May not be the amount you would get as the children are in foster care children, but the parents still get a stipend even after legally adopting the child in the state of California, for those of you who do not know this. So either way, you could knock your kids off, because a lot of people was focusing on that. Well, they don't get no money if they DEAD, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yes, they do. Stay woke. I did my homework. I stayed in Google pertaining to Cal City. So for those of you thinking, hey, they would lose by murdering the children if indeed they murdered these kids. Let's say they did kill these kids, okay? They still got a stipend for the children as adoptive children. Do you understand what I'm saying? So either way, they won money from the state. So it doesn't matter if they kept the children, sold the children, murdered the children, they still got money from the damn state. And they would retrieve money from the state up until those children turned 18, even adopted. Stay woke. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion pertaining to these two nimwits who have fell off the earth, vacate the premises, nowhere to be found, heard from, no pleas and rallies for their children missing. You don't hear anything about their biological children and the other two children that was allegedly adopted, foster care. To this day, we don't even have verification about the other two kids, if they were actually adopted and or foster child children, if these two were actually married. Also, I find it baffling, nobody else has come forward as a friend, neighbor, somebody that saw him come into McDonald's, a coffee shop, nothing. Not one single friend has given a testimony pertaining to these two. Don't you find it strange? Because we got a walkie-talkie down here in East Tennessee pertaining to the Summer Wells. You ain't got no walkie-talkies in the Cal City. Just a bunch of people searching, trying to put pieces together, clues together, and yet we've come up with nothing but just rhetoric, gossip. That's it. That's it. That's it. Not one solid person, related, friends with Jacqueline and Trezell West, has spoken up on their behalf or against them. And that is odd in modern day, that somebody won't even tell you something, whether it's the truth or not. Half truth, little truth, old truth, new truth, nothing. Nothing. And that is baffling to me, because we are in a world where people talk excessively, gossip, lie, manipulate, and yet nobody came forward to say, that's my friend, that's my homegirl, that's my sister, that's my cousin. He was like this, he's like this, she's like this. Nothing. All you got was outside sources pertaining to loans, the person who owned the house, selling the house, those outside sources that we do not know, don't know anything about those said people, couldn't point them out on the street if we passed them. I'm talking about legitimate people who know of these two, friends with these two, related to these two. I wanted to hear from those people. Somebody who had direct contact with these two heathens. And to this day, nothing. And I find that baffling. 7 months later, no children and no commentary from the parents, no pleas from the family, parents, and no relatives, friends to speak up to say, hey, these are who you're dealing with. This is what you're dealing with. All these other cases, you got all these walkie-talkies out here talking about how somebody was, what they did, didn't do. They had an affair. They did this. They stole. They robbed. They got a criminal record. I was messing with them. Whatever. These jokers, nothing. Very, very peculiar. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion. Thanks for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. If you want to donate to the channel and the dream, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. All super chats are welcome during the live. Thank you so very much. And thank the mods on deck. Amen. 77 viewing. Thank you so much. It's a great day to be out wandering around in the city. Queen is getting her rest before she steps back out for the evening. I wanted to do 2 lives before I stepped out for the evening. As I promised you all, I would do back-to-back lives today, and I'm keeping my word. The next upcoming live will be pertaining to Summer Wells. Thank you for joining in and tuning in. God bless all of you. Have a safe and prosperous weekend. Hit the link. Please hit the link. Laid back. Well, I don't know if laid back would be the appropriate word, Pretty K, but sad. More sad than anything. But I always repeat myself, and I say the same thing in all my true crime stories that I bring to the channel. Everything you need to know is at the beginning of the story. You always listen to what was told to you in the beginning. All the key players, all of the commentary, everything mentioned to the police in the initial report, that is where your answer lies. That is where your answer lies, in the truth of what happened to the missing children person. Thank you all for joining me. Well, I'll possibly end this live. I'm 42 minutes in. I don't want to hold my day up. I dropped the link because I assumed people had something they'd like to say pertaining to the children missing. But obviously not, and I'm cool with that. But I'm going to say this. I do not believe the children are alive. It would be nice to know that they're alive. But as I state, I use stats and I use common sense. I use the fact that these people never had valid photos of the children, either on their devices or in their persons. The fact that we're now 7 months in, there have been no legitimate sightings, information to where the children can be found. I do not know what evidence Cal City and Bakersfield have against these people. FBI, naturally, they will reveal that one day, but I don't know what they have. I don't know what they have found on their devices, computers, said items. I'm sure there's something there, but that has yet to be revealed. And in the end, that is what will either exonerate these people or wring them out to dry pertaining to the disappearance of those boys. We all have heard the numerous stories, innuendos pertaining to how the children got to be where they are. And it's a sad situation that children were born to somebody who really didn't care about them. And they can plea and rally and go to the book and make up all type of crazy stories that they care for their children. But all in all, the bio mom didn't care for them either. That's why they ended up in foster care. And you can't ignore that. There's no such thing as overlooking the past, because the past is why we're now in the situation we're in, 2 missing kids. They never had a chance. And I feel sorry. I feel sorry for them, whether they are alive or not, or in the worst case scenario, deceased. They never had a chance. They didn't ask to be here. Their other 2 siblings have been afforded the opportunity to be taken care of by their fathers. These 2 baby boys didn't get that chance. And it's sad, and it's disgusting, and it's vile to be reared out the womb from somebody and they fail you after birth. And then you go into foster care or neglect, abuse, to only be probably done the same way by your foster care and then adoptive parents, and now missing. What kind of life is that? That's a cruel life. So you people can word it how you want, sugarcoat how they got to be in foster care, think it's no big deal that they got in foster care from a neglectful mother. That's on you. But in the end, it ain't about you. It's about 4 children who were separated from their brothers and sisters from neglect of a parent, bio parent, to then go into foster care, 2 itty bitty spiders, to 9 times out of 10 be mistreated by those said parties, and now they go missing under those same people's custody. How effed up is that? And if you think it's okay to give all these parties a pass, that means there's something wrong with you. Because these children didn't ask to be here. They didn't choose their bio mother and fathers. They didn't choose their foster parents and adoptive parents. Because as I state, if they could stand in the line, in the pick your parent line, they wouldn't have chose their bio parents, donors, and they sure as hell wouldn't have picked Jacqueline and Trezell West. And that is the said situation. They never had a chance. And I'm one of those type of people. I believe that everybody should get a second chance at life. We all make mistakes. But when I see a person still walking around not owning any responsibility for abusing and neglecting their children, whether they have custody of them or not, lost custody, gave them to somebody, foster care took them, if you're still to this day blaming everybody else for your mistakes with your children, that shows to me you never cared for your children and you don't deserve to ever have your children. Period. Period. Own your part. Thank you, Mario. Own your part. Because you see, in the end, we're talking about 2 children who are possibly not even alive. And they didn't even get to live a long life. They didn't get to make it to preteen, high school, young adulthood. They didn't get to enjoy nothing. Shifting around from place to place as toddlers, infants. How the hell was that fair to them? But yet, we are judged because we realize, some of us who are woke and sane, that this shit started in the womb. They didn't ask to be here. They didn't choose their mama. They didn't choose no daddy. They didn't choose nothing. And now they're missing with a $125,000 reward, and nobody is talking, saying a damn word. That's cruel. Right there. That's cruel. Jacqueline, Trezell, West, your immediate family, you all are garbage. You have hid from day one. You spoke one time to the news, and after that, you made all these excuses about why you couldn't talk and rally for these children publicly. You made up all these excuses about being threatened and this and that and couldn't search. None of those things made any sense in the beginning, because you see, the story starts at the beginning and you didn't even go out and search like you should have. I don't think you ever searched. If you did, you only went out once. I never heard anybody ever report on the YT they saw you 2 out looking for the children, your mama or anybody else. So to make up all these damn excuses that you were feeling threatened by the bio donors and this and that, and they were looking at you some type of way, that don't have nothing to do with the fact you adopted those kids and you were supposed to take care of them. So it don't matter how the hell them folks was looking at you. You ain't had to walk side by side with them to look for those damn kids. You could go 50 yards over. That showed me you never cared. It's the reason why they're missing in the first place. Thank you, 78. Thank you, baby. You never cared for these kids, ever. You used the system to live off the system of taking in foster care children. Nobody could ever make me think different because they don't even have records to show you two worked. And when you last worked, Mr. Trezell, was a while ago. So we have to use logic. How did you purchase your house? How have you been living? How have you been feeding these children? How are you buying basic necessities, toilet paper, detergent, with no damn job? You were milking the system, using the system, baby hoarding, foster care, baby hoarding. You two are vile and disgusting. Just disgusting. And the fact that you two procreated 2 children of your own makes me want to vomit. You see, this is where people really don't stop and think. You had 2 kids of your own before you took in 1 foster care child. So your mindset was diabolical while rearing the 2 you had originally. Stay woke. And now all these children are separated from your dusty asses and their own siblings. Maybe not biological to them, but they were in the same household. Thank you, Danny. Thank you so much for the super chat. God bless you. It's not my birthday, Danny. I don't know where y'all get that birthday stuff from. But thank you anyway, sweetheart. Thank you all for the super chats. You never cared. And you use the system like so many dirty boogers that love to milk the system, getting aid for foster care children. And the sad part about California is they pay you dusty ass folks money even after adopting the children. They pay you a small amount of money just for adopting them and keeping them in your care. I was stunned when I heard this, that they still pay the parents a stipend after adoption out of foster care. What kind of SH is that? What type of BS is that? So you all knew you were on easy street. You said to yourself, well, I'm sick of these kids. I don't want them no more. It don't matter. We may not be getting as much as if we had them as foster care children, but we still getting something. It's disgusting. You're disgusting and you're vile. And ain't nothing ever good gonna come to you. Not today, not no day. You don't have your biological children. You don't have the other 2 foster children, adopted children, and you then went and got 2 missing on your damn watch. And I believe you hurt those kids. You deliberately hurt those children, and you deliberately discarded those children. I don't believe in no human trafficking. I don't believe in no Mars, Jupiter. I don't believe in none of that. Illuminati conspiracy. I don't believe in none of that. Because see, I go by what was told to me day one. I go by what I've seen you do and say and not do and say. And now I look up 7 months later, you've done nothing pertaining to pleading for your children. So that tells me everything I need to know about you as people and parents. You never cared for them because you don't even rally for them. You don't tell the public, I miss them, I love them. Where you at? I need you back. Your brothers miss you. Your grandparents miss you. We think about you every day. You couldn't have loved those 2 because you don't love yourself. You don't love yourselves. So you couldn't love your biological children. You couldn't have loved those adopted kids, foster kids. You can't even love your own mammy and your pawpaw. And I often wondered how your mammy and daddy treated you as a child. Because you see, I believe this is the reason why those children are missing. You didn't have what you needed, Trezell West, as a child. And you grew up holding in God knows what type of resentment, animosity towards your family, parents, the world. And you had the nerve to lay down with a woman and make children. Then you all found an easy hustle by bringing in foster children. And now those two of those babies are missing on your watch. And you two have played dumb as possums by not saying anything to show you cared about these kids. Oh, God ain't never slept. He ain't got to. And I thank God for the gift of discernment. It has served the queen proper well for near 50 years. I know evil. I see evil. I smell it. And I've been around it most of my life. And I know how people get down. That's why it's so easy to read Jacqueline and Trezell West. Because I've seen it and experienced it in life. I don't need Facebook. I don't need YT. I don't need somebody in the street to tell me nothing about nothing. My own discernment told me everything I need to know about the missing Cal City boys and the biological parents and the adoptive parents. Nobody gave a fuck. And that is the reason why the children ended up in foster care and the reason why they're missing and the reason why the other children are displaced and living with other people. From bio to adoptive to Trezell and Jacqueline's own children. Don't you find that strange? All these children are now separated, and yet you all want to, some of you that's lazy in the brain, want to judge us for staying woke and realizing what is spoken word. All these kids are separated from each other. You think that was just an accident? Because it sure ain't my damn fault. I didn't raise them, and I didn't give birth to them. And you don't find it strange that from the bio mama's kids to Jacqueline Trezell's own children and foster children, ain't none of the children together? You think all that just happenstance? So you want to rally for these MFs? Knock yourself out. But I bet you one thing. You wouldn't leave your damn kids with the bio donors or Jacqueline and Trezell West. Not now, not never. I want to thank Cal City Police Department, Bakersfield Police Department, FBI for aiding this quest to find these children. I want to thank those searchers there, Bakersfield, Cal City, who have diligently searched for the the children, doing the best they could with what they had. Thank you. Because without you trying to aid in the help to find the children, where would we be? These children are out here somewhere, maybe not alive, but they deserve justice. And it would be nice to know if they are alive. But as I have said, in these cases, you cannot diligently go about life with children that are been reported missing. That means you'd have to leave the child inside, locked in, and never bring them out. How is that going to work if you wanted to actually raise the child as your own? That means the child can never come outside. Somebody would recognize them. So that only leaves you kidnapping a child for felonious reasons. Deviant reasons. Reasons we don't have to repeat on the line. And 9 times out of 10, if one kidnaps a child, children for devious reasons, they're not going to keep them alive. They will do what they have to do with the child within 3 hours. It has been said in many stats. After 3 hours, it's a no-go in trying to find the child. Because most children who are kidnapped for devious reasons, rarely are they found alive, or if at all. And the fact that a person would kidnap 2 children, it is rare if it is a stranger. Usually it is persons who are biological parents and or relatives of the children. I want to thank you all for joining me. God bless my mods. God bless the people who have, as I said, aided in the search for the children. Thank you all in the chat. Thank you for the support. 2 years ago, I came to YT to bring commentary. I've been on now 2 years this month. I want to thank YT, and I want to thank those who followed me in the beginning, those who stuck with the Queen when I first came across the cupcake case. That case is still on the docket. Those two suspects have not gone to trial yet. When they do, I will bring you the said commentary to that. That is how I became known on YouTube. It's from talking about Camille McKinney. This is a sad, sad situation. No information about Mr. Carr. Somebody knows about those boys in California, and those two somebodies is Jacqueline and Trezell West. I do believe they are complicit in the disappearance of the children, and I also believe they discarded the children. That is my personal opinion. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. It's just an opinion. But in the end, the fact that they don't rally for the children tells you everything you need to know. Whether you believe they sold them or they murdered them, it's still principle. They have not rallied for the kids. They have not pleaded for the children to the public. Paying to hear an uncle and grandmother statement ramble on and on, it's not my cup of tea, and it's disrespectful and inappropriate considering two children are missing. Why the hell would anybody want to pay to look at Dear John letters on a sheet of paper, computer screen? That's not the way you do business. You see, you all still hustling, folks. And I don't think some of you even realize that. The West was already hustling the state by taking in foster children and adopting them and getting money in a stipend. Then they go missing, and here comes the uncle with a pay site wanting you to pay so you can see what he has to say about who we are as people. We miss the kids, yah, yah, yah. No decent human would ever ask you to pay to give commentary about two missing boys or anybody missing. And I have never heard of any genuine soul rallying for their loved one, asking a civilian to pay to hear them give commentary. And yet you sit up and talk about people stalking you, doxing you, harassing you, your mother, which I didn't condone any of that behavior, but nonetheless, you are just as grimy as Jacqueline and Trezell West, Mr. Jamal, for wanting us civilians to pay to hear you talk and talk endlessly about nothing. To this day, you've brought nothing forthcoming that could lead to us finding those babies. Not you, not your mama, your daddy, stepdaddy, your brother, his wife, nobody. So that pay site was a waste of time and disrespectful to those boys. And you also showed you didn't give a damn either. And you never used your position to rally for the children with the NAACP. Yeah, I'm going to say that. That was the perfect opportunity to get the word out about those missing nephews. You could have said, I work with this agency. We are doing our best to put out all said information around the world about my nephews missing. You didn't even do that. And yet you moaned and groaned and cried about how people were messing and stalking your family, bothering you in your inbox. And you didn't even use your own position with the NAACP to rally for these children, bring attention to these kids. You had the perfect opportunity to get the word out on the East Coast about two missing Black boys out of California. And you couldn't even do that because you chose not to. And that's why I know that you all are complicit in the disappearance of the Cal City boys. Whether you know what they did to them, you're still complicit because you're old enough to have common sense. And common sense should tell you something terrible happened to those kids under your brother and sister-in-law's watch. And they have not rallied for the children. So therefore, you should find that despicable and baffling all in the same breath. And the grandparents, there's no words for you all either. nasty remarks to a girl that drove by, Miss West. Yeah, we saw that nasty comment you made to that girl that day when she asked you where are the boys. And you said a nasty comment about they at your house. What type of decent human would ever say some shit like that about some babies? See, that shows me you don't care about yourself. Because she filmed you when you said it. And you never cared about yourself. You never cared about your kids. And you didn't care about those grandkids. And as far as Jacqueline's family, mother, I don't know anything about those people. Who's who? In the end, it doesn't even matter at this point. Because who's going to talk to tell you anything that's viable? 7 months in, we don't know no more about who's related to who's married, who worked, where income's coming from. We know nothing. Where they're staying, we know nothing. And that's odd in a modern day of mad technology. We know nothing about the West clan, where they are, what they're doing, how they're living, how they're bringing forth resources to eat, survive. Nothing. All those eyes out there on the ground, but we know nothing. Not one person that knows them. Run into YouTube to tell something. Facebook, something. Nothing. Melissa, what is the interview room going to talk to? Who are they? Who is that man going to speak to? The people involved won't even talk to the news. They're not going to talk to that guy. They would never talk to him. If you won't speak to the news, you're not going to talk to that guy. The only way they would talk to that guy is if he happened to pay. And I'm going to tell you all the truth, and I'm going to check out of here. There's no way in hell I'm going to ever believe anybody's story or version if they took money for an interview. And I'm going to leave it at that. You're paying to hear what exactly? People lie for free. So they will surely lie for the almighty dollar. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie, 129 Cash App. Prayers for Cal City. Prayers for Summer Wells. Prayers for Chadwick Carr, 32, missing out of East Tennessee. Deshina Kyle, 27, missing out of Knoxville, Tennessee. I want to thank all of you for joining me. And I pray that one day the Cal City boys get justice, because it is way, way too much time. Just too much time has passed with no information pertaining to these children. And I'm also praying for justice for Summer Wells as well, and other missing children and persons. And the two that I just mentioned to you that are adults, Chadwick Carr and Deshina Kyle. And it doesn't matter if they are here in my region or anywhere across the globe. I have a heart and I care about people in general. And it is unfair for anybody to cross the wrong path with another human being and go missing. And common sense will tell you, the longer the time, the worse the scenario that they are alive. You have rare cases that you find out that the people are alive, but that's the point of the story. Who's going to tell it? Who's going to tell you that these missing people are alive? That's the purpose of them getting gone, and keeping them alive is not to let anybody know that they are. So who's going to tell it? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Join me in the next few minutes for another live discussion on the case pertaining to Summer Wells. Thank the mods, the chat. God bless all of you. Stay safe. 7 months later, no signs of Cal City boys. No pleas from their adoptive parents. No information from any friends or family members pertaining to those missing children. Why not? You know why not. They never cared. Talk to you guys later. This is Everyday Shenanigans.